Alexander Volkanovski has made his pick for the upcoming showdown between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira, and his breakdown was sharp. Volk focused in on Charles's signature pressure style, questioning what happens if Ilia finds himself on the back foot early. He floated the idea that the Georgian might choose to play it safe at the start, maybe even give up some ground just to read Charles's timing. But ultimately, Volk still leaned toward a Topuria knockout win. Why? Because Charles tends to move in straight lines and fights with a reckless edge that leaves him open, and Ilia is sharp, precise, and powerful enough to capitalize. Volk also touched on his own plans and preferences, saying that while he's expected to rematch Yair Rodriguez later this year, the guy he sees as the most deserving contender is Movsar Evloev. Volk believes Movsar is the second best featherweight right now, and said he fully understands why the UFC might be hesitant to give him a title shot since he doesn't get flashy finishes. But from a pure skill and merit perspective, Volk believes Movsar has earned it. That's high praise coming from the champ, and it shows how much respect Evloev has quietly built within the division.
I've got Ilia. I think just stylistically, and what we've seen, Charles likes to, he's very aggressive, very exciting fight. That's why we all love to watch him. But, if he comes aggressive like that, there's going to be opportunities for Ilia. And Ilia can bang, you know what I mean? If you're going to come forward like that, yeah, you might land yourself. That's always going to be something as well, right? Like Charles could definitely catch him, but yeah, you can be hittable if you come aggressively like that, especially with someone like Ilia, who's going to back himself and try and put one on you as you're coming in like that. Especially if you're that little bit out of position. That I wouldn't say his chin's up. He sort of has a sort of guard, but the way he comes forward in a straight line, yeah, I think Ilia can really sit on some shots if that's the case. I know there's going to be knees coming up. Will he be worried about that? Will he want to be defensive first? Ilia, because he knows how aggressive Charles is going to come forward, because we don't know how Ilia is on the back foot.
You think he knocks him out?
I think it's a knockout, yes.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall has addressed the swirling rumors about a potential super fight with Alex Pereira, rumors that gained traction last week after Chael Sonnen claimed a UFC matchmaker told him this fight would be next. But Aspinall pumped the brakes on all that talk. In a recent interview, he said Pereira needs to focus on reclaiming his light heavyweight title first, specifically in his rematch with Magomed Ankalaev. Tom emphasized that Alex should get his belt back before even thinking about a move to heavyweight. Interestingly, Alex Pereira had actually already spoken on this subject before Aspinall in an earlier interview, and his stance lined up with Tom's. Pereira made it clear that his current goal is to defeat Ankalaev, ideally in October, and reclaim the 205-pound strap. Only after that, he said, would he consider chasing champ status and facing Aspinall at heavyweight. So while the rumors were loud, both fighters are on the same page. The focus is on unfinished business first, and then maybe one of the biggest double champ fights the UFC could ever book. And let's be real, the UFC is kinda starving for huge superstar matchups like this. With Jones inactive, McGregor out, and no clear mega fight on the calendar, a potential Pereira versus Aspinall showdown could be the blockbuster they desperately need. If both men handle business, this fight could save a pay-per-view and light up the back end of the year.
It's funny you should say that, because I see in the pictures when I'm like staring at him. Yeah. If you watch me at any event, I'll stand and stare at the flyweights like that.
Really?
Yeah, not because I'm not trying to intimidate them, because I really enjoy studying people's psychology before the fight. But I don't know, he's got business to do at light heavy, you know what I mean? He's just lost his title in a tough fight. I think that Ankalaev remains to be a really tough matchup for him. Let's see if he gets through the next one, because in my opinion, Magomed Ankalaev doesn't get enough respect. Like, the guy has run through everybody, and he just beat a long-standing champion. And he should be given respect in his own right for being a champion. And I think that it's a tough fight for Alex. It's definitely a fight that Alex can win. We've seen him, how powerful he is and stuff. But I think as far as his move up to heavyweight, I'm only speaking if I was in his position, I'd want to get that one back first.
Just a day before UFC 317, Georgian influencer and Merab Dvalishvili's close team member Vado Gvinjilaya posted a vlog that quickly caught fire across Georgian media. The video featured Vato and the UFC bantamweight champion Merab visiting their fellow Georgian Ilia Topuria at his training camp. As Merab and Ilia greeted each other, they shared a short exchange that wasn't meant to be heard, but sharp Georgian viewers caught it. The audio wasn't super clear, and it definitely wasn't the focus of the vlog, but but a Georgian journalist managed to pick up the conversation. When Merab casually asked how things were going and how the weight cut was coming along, Ilia's response raised eyebrows. Let's roll the clip. How are things going, Ilia? Oh, I've been better. A lot better. Trust me, I've been a hell of a lot better than this. Compared to now, even my worst days used to feel decent. Which is exactly what makes this whole thing so weird. This was supposed to be Ilia Topuria's big move up to lightweight. Everyone expected the weight cut to be easier than ever. The narrative was that he'd finally be able to eat more, feel stronger, and perform better throughout camp. Even Ilia himself said that moving up meant he'd be more comfortable and wouldn't have to drain himself like he did at featherweight. But despite all that, he's been openly saying he still has a lot of weight to cut, and that water weight is one of the biggest issues. That caught people off guard. If this move up was meant to be a relief, why does he still sound like he's suffering through another brutal cut? Henry Cejudo isn't holding back when it comes to Charles Oliveira's approach against Ilia Topuria. Henry slammed Charles for always choosing to stand and trade, despite having elite level grappling and solid wrestling in his back pocket. He pointed out that Oliveira's got the physical tools, long reach, size, but still insists on closing the distance and turning it into a brawl. According to Henry, if Charles doesn't wrestle in this fight, he's setting himself up for failure. He warned that Ilia will be hunting for that vicious body shot to headshot combo, and if Charles tries to strike with him for too long, he'll end up watching Topuria leave with the lightweight title. And yeah, look, Charles Oliveira is without a doubt one of the most dangerous submission artists in UFC history. The man is the most prolific finisher the lightweight division has ever seen. But people forget Ilia's background is grappling too. He comes from Greco-Roman roots, and throughout his rise, he's shown strong takedown defense, excellent balance, and a tight ground game when needed. That said, Oliveira's jiu-jitsu is on another level. So while Ilia has the tools to survive on the mat, he'll likely aim to keep this fight standing, where he can use his power, timing, and that killer combo to do real damage.
Dude, I like this. I like Charles, but sometimes I just gotta question his IQ. He's a
Charles?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Or not even yeah, I guess you could say IQ or his tactical fighting. Okay. You know what I'm saying? He's a long guy with longer limbs. He's a taller fighter, but yet he's gonna be here. He's gonna be in that range with a guy like Ilia Topuria who lives there. And you saw what he did to Jai Herbert. The same size as Charles Oliveira, he was able to put him out. He's unpredictable with his sequences of going high-low is very tricky, and he has that groove where he has the right, he's able to generate that right power for a guy that's 5'7". Right. The person that really needs to make that adjustment in that fight, it is Charles Oliveira. Could Charles Oliveira bring it to the clinch, use those clinches, or could he surprise him with those double leg takedowns? Charles Oliveira's takedowns are really good.
That's it from MMA Psycho. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for daily MMA news.